Hi everyone, it's Sandra, and today I wanted to share with you my current go-to everyday makeup routine as well as my everyday loose waves that I've been doing. I've been really happy with the makeup routine, especially the base. It's been my go-to base. It will come as no surprise when you see the products, but I've just been loving it so much. Starting out the video with freshly washed hair. It's slightly damp and it's kind of in the process of being air dried. The products that I used in my hair are the Olaplex No. 7 Bonding Oil, which I'm a big fan of. It's a really lightweight oil, helps with smoothing, helps with repairing. It also helps with a bit of heat protection, which I love. Then I go in with my Aveda Thickening Tonic. This is one of my favorite styling products and I've been using it for years. I have very fine thin hair and I find that this does help thicken it up a bit. And I use about 6 sprays of this throughout my hair. Then if I want to let my hair air dry a bit and kind of encourage a little bit of my natural wave to come through, I really love this Kerastase wave spray. You find it a bit less drying than more traditional salt wave sprays, and it doesn't really have a lingering scent to it or anything. It has just like a slightly herbal scent, but I do about 9 spritzes of this, kind of focusing at the ends of my hair. And then in order to kind of control the wave pattern a little bit, I love Tara's heatless waves routine. I think she has her heatless wave tutorial on Instagram. I will link her Instagram below. Mars is her username, and her heatless wave routine, I've been using it for the last 2 years and it's awesome. I think it looks even better if you're somebody with thicker hair, but I kind of manipulate it to work for me. And I just twist my hair into these 2 twists as you see on the screen right now, and I kind of leave it be for a bit, and as my hair dries, it will kind of take a bit of that wavy shape. For the base makeup, I have been adoring the combination of the Maybelline Urban Dream cover. I use this in the shade Classic Ivory with a bit of the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Warm Beige. And I just find that it complements the Maybelline product really well. It adds a bit more coverage, and I just really love this combination. I love the way that it wears on the skin. It's a really good, kind of like a medium to full coverage base that doesn't look heavy on the skin. It ends up just looking really nice and wearing really nicely throughout the day, and I also don't really need any extra concealer to cover up any of my hyperpigmentation because the base has enough coverage to it. I like to start with a brush. This is a Zoeva foundation brush. It's a 102. I kind of like to spread the product with the brush first, and then I go in with the Real Techniques sponge to make sure that everything is nice and blended. For my under eye concealer, I am using the Maybelline Superstay Concealer. I like to mix shades 15 and 18 to kind of get that bright effect under the eyes, and I'm blending that out with a Real Techniques mini sponge. I am using the BECCA Under Eye Brightening Powder, and I like this powder applied with a brush and with a damp sponge. I find that if I want a little bit more longevity and a little bit more smoothing underneath my eyes, a damp sponge kind of helps me achieve that effect. For eyes, I'm using an oldie but goodie. I think it's discontinued now, but it's an old Burberry Quad in the color Rose Pink. I just, with spring hopefully coming soon, I've been really kind of getting into more of the blush colors in my makeup collection. And I have not used this eyeshadow quad in a really long time. I don't even think I've ever used it on camera. I'm starting out with using the taupe shade in my crease. Then I'm using this beautiful darker blush shade to kind of carve out my outer corner and deepen my crease a little bit. If you don't have an eyeshadow color that is similar to this, you can use a blush. I feel like this color is a lot more similar to a blush color, so you can try to use that maybe to achieve a similar effect. All over the eyes, I'm using this really shimmery pale pink color, and then I'm using the pale champagne shade in the inner corner to give me a little bit of brightness. On my lower lash line, I'm just mixing the taupe shade and the darker blush shade together to create a really soft shadow under the eyes. For cheeks, I'm using my Lila B bronzer, which is the bronzer I'm trying to use up for my project pan. I've been really loving applying it with this angled Marc Jacobs blush brush. I just find that the bristles of this brush are a little bit more coarse, and while that normally wouldn't be a good thing, for this particular bronzer, it works really well because the coarseness of the bristles ends up picking up more product. When I was using a really soft brush with this bronzer, I've had trouble getting the color deposit that I wanted. For blush, I'm using the Blush That Will Never Die, my Tarte Exposed blush. This is another one of my Project Pan products, and it's a great blush color, honestly. It works with any type of look. For eyelashes, I am using the Kevyn Aucoin lash curler, which is amazing. It's definitely my favorite eyelash curler that I have owned. I love it so much. If I want a bit more volume, if I want to amp up my mascara, a lash primer will help. It ends up giving a voluminous but less clumpy look. So I'm using the Lancome Seal Booster XL. I can't say that I like this more than Marc Jacobs. I think the Marc Jacobs one is a little bit more voluminous, but this gives a bit more length. And for mascara, I'm using the Lancome Hypnose mascara. For eyebrows, I have been really digging the softer eyebrow look with just using a plain old eyeshadow. I'm just brushing a little bit of L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper in my brows. Rest in peace. This is my favorite brow gel and it's discontinued, but I still love it and I'm still using up the tubes that I have left. I briefly talked about this lip combination in my last video, maybe the video before that, but the L'Oreal Color Riche lip liner in color 110, I think it's called Mattes It. It's a really beautiful mauvey sculpting type of color, and this pencil is really soft, and you do have to sharpen it more often, but what I really love about it is how easy it is to blend. And I've really been enjoying using a small smudging eyeshadow brush. This is just a MAC pencil brush, and I love using this brush to kind of diffuse the lip liner a little bit, and I still get that sculpted look from the tone of the lip liner pencil, but it just softens the look a little bit. So I just apply a little bit to my ring finger and then use the ring finger to blend the lip oil all over my lips, and I absolutely love this lip combination. I think that if you are ever craving something new, I think playing around with what you have, especially in the lip department, there are so many different ways to mix and match your lip products. You can play with lip liners, with gloss, with lipstick, and the possibilities are endless. Now I'm just taking my hair out, and I'm just going to use a traditional curling iron to perfect the waves, but it's like perfect imperfect because I'm not going to follow any rules really. I am going to try and go in alternate directions, and my goal is not to have perfectly symmetrical waves. I am going to pick up pieces of different thicknesses. I'm going to curl in different directions in order to kind of mimic the irregularities of a more natural wave pattern. I'm also going to leave some pieces of my hair that just have that natural wave pattern from the heatless waves that we created. So just all together, it will create a messy, imperfectly perfect kind of look. Whenever I curl my hair with a curling iron, I like to section it in 3 main sections, and I kind of section it horizontally. So I start with the hair closest to the nape of my neck, then I do a midsection, and then I do the top section, and I then divide each section in half just by kind of figuring out where the half of my head is and pulling it forward. I'm just picking up random strands of hair that I feel need a little bit more polishing. And for some of them, I go in one direction for half of the strand, and then I switch directions on the other half. For some, I just alternate. I do one whole strand clockwise, the next one counterclockwise. You just have to play around and figure out a combination that you like. I will link below 2 of my favorite hairstylist tutorials that I kind of try to emulate whenever I do this type of look. One was on Violette FR's channel with a Bumble and Bumble hairstylist, and the other one was, I think it was on Birdie Beauty. I'm going to link both of them below. They're excellent hair tutorials to watch if you're into this type of messy hair look. And I just kind of combine the advice from both of those and figure out what works for me. We all have different preferences, we all have different hair types, so it's all about discovering the tools and product combinations that work for you. The hair curling iron that I'm using is by GHD. I think it's called the Curve, and I love it. GHD makes amazing hair tools. I think it's about 1.25 inches, and I love how fast it heats up, and I have not had any issues. I've had it for about 1.5 years now, and I love, love, love it. Before that, I had a Hot Tools curling iron that lasted for years and years and years. So that is another option that's great if you are on a budget. So I just go in random sections around my hair. The only two pieces that I'm a little bit particular about are the pieces at the front of my hair. And as you can see, I don't use the clamp for this part. I just wrap my hair around the curling iron, kind of using it like a curling wand in order to get better control of the direction of the wave. And I curl both of the front pieces away from the face. And that's about it. Once I let everything set for a couple of minutes, I go in with a texturizing spray. I love a lot of different texturizing sprays. I love the Oribe one, the Bumble and Bumble one. This one has a bit more hold to it, so I like it because it's like a texturizing spray and hairspray all in one. It's the Show Beauty Working Texture Spray, and I do about 6 sprays of this all over, and I find that this gives me a bit of texture, a bit of hold. This will usually last me about 2 to 3 days, and then on the 4th day I will wear my hair up and then wash it in the evening. So that's kind of my go-to hair look that I've been doing, my go-to makeup. I hope that you like this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section below, and make sure you read the description box before, because I will list all the products that I use. I will also list those 2 hair tutorials. Any resources that I can think of will be in there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.